Hello and welcome. The awarding of the Thank You Sculpture is a personal initiative which is not in the name of an institution and also not in the name of an ethnic affiliation. The worldwide awarding of the Thank You Sculpture wants to highlight, first of all, the message of solidarity and support for people who have little or no resources. Solidarity in this sense means acting against any kind of discrimination, racism, anti-Semitism, ableism. Furthermore, the work of this website opposes discrimination of disability, age, religion, and belief. Thank you very much. Welcome. Solidarity refers to an attitude of attachment to and support of the ideas, activities, and goals of others, usually mentioned in an ethical, political context. It also expresses the cohesion between like-minded or equal individuals and groups and the commitment to common values. The opposite of solidarity is competition. In the labor movement, solidarity was emphasized as a virtue of the working class. It has a similar meaning here to the word comradeship, in the military or elsewhere. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome. The awarding of the Thank You Sculpture is a personal initiative which is not in the name of an institution and also not in the name of an ethnic affiliation. The worldwide awarding of the Thank You Sculpture wants to highlight, first of all, the message of solidarity and support for people who have little or no resources. Solidarity in this sense means acting against any kind of discrimination, racism, anti-Semitism, ableism. Furthermore, the work of this website opposes discrimination of disability, age, religion, and belief. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome. The worldwide awarding of the Thank You Sculpture wants to highlight, first of all, the message of solidarity and support for people who have little or no resources. Solidarity in this sense means acting against any kind of discrimination, racism, anti-Semitism, ableism. Furthermore, the work of this website opposes discrimination of disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, religion, and belief. Hello and welcome together. Documenta is an exhibition of contemporary art which takes place every 5 years in Kassel, Germany. The Documenta was founded by artist, teacher and curator Arnold Bode in 1955 as part of the Bundesgartenschau, Federal Horticulture Show, which took place in Kassel at the time. It was an attempt to bring Germany up to speed with modern art, both banishing and repressing the cultural darkness of Nazism. The first Documenta featured many artists who are generally considered to have had a significant influence on modern art, such as Picasso and Kandinsky. The more recent editions of the event feature artists based across the world, but much of the art is site-specific. Every Documenta is limited to 100 days of exhibition, which is why it is often referred to as the Museum of 100 Days. Documenta is not a selling exhibition. History. Art professor and designer Arnold Bode from Kassel was the initiator of the first Documenta, originally planned as a secondary event to accompany the Bundesgartenschau. This attracted more than 130,000 visitors in 1955. The exhibition centered less on contemporary art, that is, art made after 1945. Instead, Bode wanted to show the public works which had been known as Entartete Kunst in Germany during the Nazi era. Fauvism, Expressionism, Cubism, Blauer Reiter, Futurism, and Pittura Metafisica. Therefore, abstract art, in particular, the abstract paintings of the 1920s and 1930s, was the focus of interest in this exhibition. Over time, the focus shifted to contemporary art. At first, the show was limited to works from Europe, but soon covered works by artists from the Americas, Africa, and Asia. The fourth Documenta, the first ever to turn a profile, featured a selection of pop art, minimal art, and kinetic art. Adopting the term of questioning reality, pictorial words today, the 1972 Documenta radically redefined what could be considered art by featuring minimal and conceptual art, marking a turning point in the public acceptance of those styles. Also, it devoted a large section to the work of Adolf Wolfli, the great Swiss outsider, then unknown. Joseph Beuys performed repeatedly under the auspices of his utopian organization of direct democracy. Additionally, the 1987 Documenta show signaled another important shift with the elevation of design to the realm of art, showing an openness to postmodern design. Certain key political dates for wide-reaching social and cultural upheavals, such as 1945, 1968, or 1976 and 1977, became chronological makers of Documenta 10, 1997, along which arts, political, social, cultural, and aesthetic exploratory functions were traced. Documenta 11 was organized around themes like migration, urbanization, and the post-colonial experience, with documentary, photography, film, and video, as well as work from far-flung locals holding the spotlight. In 2012, Documenta 13 was described as ardently feminist, global and multimedia in approach, and including works by dead artists and selected bits of ancient art. Thank you for listening and watching. The non-profit aid organization Tafel distributes food that is no longer used in the economic cycle and would otherwise be destroyed to those in need. In Germany, 1/3 of the needy are children or young people. The Tafel has been active since 1993, and comparable initiatives exist in many other European countries. In Germany, food banks are organized in the umbrella organization Tafel Deutschland e.V. and are mostly active at the municipal level. The history of the food bank movement in Germany began with a lecture to a small association and newspaper article. In 1993, then the social senator Ingrid Stamer gave a talk on homelessness in Berlin at the Initiativgruppe Berlin Frauen. Among the 15 or so people represent, the impulse arose to want to do something. Dr. Ursula Grazie Mosner had a newspaper article about the New York initiative City Harvest with her. Why not copy what has long worked well in the USA? Principles of the Berliner Tafel. The Tafel in Germany have agreed on the following principles. They hand out faultless food, work mainly on a voluntary and independent basis. Take a coin for the goods, do not compete with each other. In bracket, therefore only one tafel per town, and help all people who need help. Only those who sign this code of honor are awarded the name Tafel by the Federal Association. Women and men from all social classes help out at the Berlin Tafel. The manager in early retirement gets to know the hardships of single mother. The old lady with a small pension first collects goods and then bakes a cake for the volunteers. The young person sentenced to community service encounters the warmth of people with Down syndrome. Man does not live by bread alone. On 21st February 2023, the Berliner Tafel will be 30 years old. A good occasion for reminiscences and reflections on a movement that began in Berlin and has since spread for beyond the country's borders. Thank you, Berliner Tafel. Hawar Help e.V. is a human rights organization founded in 2015 on the ashes of the genocide against the Yazidis. Today, they implement development, education, and awareness programs in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Germany. They also do advocacy on the ground and digitally, including on the revolution in Iran. They stand for the endeavor to create a world in which every human being, regardless of gender, origin, or creed, can develop in a self-determined and safe manner. A world in which human rights are respected as the highest good, and women and children need not be afraid to seize opportunities and think big. A world where educational initiatives and open societies especially support those who are scared by life but still have the courage to carry on. And in this sense, thank you very much, Hawar Help e.V. Thank you. The thank you sculpture goes to the Humboldt University in Berlin and The thank you sculpture will be given in May 2023. The reason is a lot of diversity work have been established within a lot of workshops and other lectures at the University of Humboldt. The renewal and elite status in 1990 for the Humboldt University is about the renewal after German reunification resulted in a significant change in personnel. From 1989 to 1994, almost 3,000 scientists left the university sector, partly for reasons of age, mostly for political, technical, or structural reasons. In particular, as a result of Wilhelm Krell's efforts, 170 people working in the economics section lost their jobs. The student body became more critical in the course of this opening, and in the independent student newspaper of the HU was founded in 1989. Finally, I would like to say thank you for the University of Humboldt in Berlin. Thank you very much. Fridays for Future. Also, Fridays for Future or school strike for the climate or climate strike is a global social movement based on pupils and students who campaign for climate protection measures that are as comprehensive, fast, and efficient as possible. The central goal is to still meet the 1.5 degree target set by the United Nations at the World Climate Conference in Paris in 2015 in the World Climate Agreement. Fridays for Future is part of the global climate movement. Following the example set by the initiator, Greta Thunberg, school children strike out in class on Fridays and take to the street to demonstrate for an effective climate policy. The protest takes place worldwide and is organized by the pupils and students. For example, almost 1.8 million people are said to have taken part in the Fridays for Futures demonstrations on March 15, 2019, the first climate strike organized worldwide. The movement, which started with students, met with broad social acceptance and numerous Fridays movements formed regionally, nationally, and worldwide as support organizations in the slipstream. Parents for Future, Grandparents for Future, Health for Future, and even Teacher for Future are present at the demonstrations and increasingly watered down the idea of school strikes. In Germany, the Scientists for Future in particular came into the public eye. General goals. The aim of the climate strikes is to draw attention to climate policy, grievances, and to initiate measures for climate justice. In particular, compliance with the Paris Agreement is to be ensured. Thank you, Fridays for Future. The Institute for Social Research, IFS, was founded in 1923 at the Johann Wolfgang Goethe University in Frankfurt am Main through an endowment by the businessman and patron Hermann Weil and his son Felix Weil. The beginnings with an academic Marxism in the first years caused the Institute to gain its scholastic importance with the assumption of leadership by Max Horkheimer in 1931, who made it the Central Research Center of Critical Theory. after his forced immigration to the USA by the National Socialist regime, it was reopened in 1951 as a research and teaching center in Frankfurt am Main under Max Horkheimer's leadership. Horkheimer's retirement meant that initially Theodor V. Adorno and after his death Ludwig von Friedeburg became executive directors before the institute was headed by Axel Honneth, a student of Jürgen Habermas, from 2001 to 2018. Since then, the provisional director has been the Austrian-born Ferdinand Satterlütti. He was succeeded on the 1st July. He was succeeded on the 1st July 2021 by Stefan Lessenich, who took up a professorship for social theory and social research at Goethe University. He took up this post with the conviction that there are few social science institutions, especially in Germany, that are surrounded by a similar aura at the Institute for Social Research. Since Axel Honneth took over as executive director, the focus of the project has been on the analysis of paradoxes of capitalist modernization. Today, the Institute works in various working groups on current questions of capitalist society. The research program is to be divided into the areas of structural change of normative integration in capitalist societies, capitalist rationalization and labor, family change and changing conditions of socialization, debureaucratization of the welfare state and political democracy, and cultural industry and electronic media. Thank you. The Social Justice and Radical Diversity Institute offers training courses, certified training courses, workshops, seminars, and lectures for all those interested and multipliers who want to work professionally for non-discriminatory interaction between people. It's aimed in particular, especially at specialist and social institutions, youth and adult education facilities, hospitals and care facilities, job centers, trade unions, schools and universities, political parties and foundations, companies and associations, as well as teachers, students, cultural and art workers, equal opportunities and integration officer. The Institute was founded in 2005. In 2001, Lea Carola Czolek, Gudrun Pekru and Heike Weinbach developed a training approach, social justice and diversity, and finally the trainer training for the German-speaking area. The anti-discrimination education and training concept, social justice and diversity, has established itself as an anti-discrimination, inclusion and participation concept in Germany. Among other things, this involves the analysis and criticism of power and dominance relations, recognizing structural discrimination, dealing with different forms of discrimination, the discrimination matrix and systemic intersectionality, and an understanding of diversity critical to discrimination, the idea of radical diversity as a horizon for action. Among other things, you qualify for the application of anti-discrimination concepts, practicing a new method, the development of options for action within the framework of the concept of being allied, the ability to implement social justice and diversity in institutions, projects, or companies. In each thematic focus, theoretical and historical inputs, as well as specially developed exercises, convey the social anchoring and functioning of the respective form of discrimination, the production of stereotypes in the historical context, their changes, reproductions, and consolidations are also discussed. The intention of the social justice and diversity training is to understand discrimination, to reflect on stereotypes, and to recognize one's own interdependencies in order to be able to act in the sense of advocating for a society free of discrimination. People are understood as social actors who take responsibility for their own actions as individuals or in a group, towards themselves and towards society. Thank you. Reasons for awarding the Thank You Sculpture to the City of Essen. Waiver of admission fee for a permanent exhibition, in bracket, cultural participation, integration, bracket close. Admission to the permanent exhibition of the Essen Art Museum Volkwang should remain free. The group foundation will take over the financing for another year and a half until the end of 2021. The foundation and the City of Essen announced on Monday. From 2022, the year of the 100th anniversary of the museum in Essen, according to Lord Mayor Thomas Kufen, CDU, the city wants to ensure permanent free entry to the permanent collection. According to its own statements, the internationally renowned Museum Volkwang is the first large German art museum with such a permanent offer. 2. Framework concept for the Volkwang decade. The Volkwang decade should ensure understanding, experience, and perception of the renewed Volkwang idea in the city and beyond, and should always keep an eye on Volkwang as a place where the community meets. The aim is also to promote cultural education and networking. This should be implemented, for example, through the city-wide structural anchoring of cultural participation in school or extracurricular locations, and through the visualization of regional national networks. 3. Return of the Benin bronze. The subject of restitution is a difficult and sensitive subject, but the Museum Volkwang and the City of Essen have nevertheless shown their willingness to clarify and have turned this into facts by approving the return. They decided to transfer ownership of the Benin bronze memorial head of an Oba back to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Museum Volkwang has owned the Benin bronze memorial head of an Oba since 1932 through an anonymous donation. To implement the transfer of ownership of the Benin bronze to the Federal Republic of Nigeria on behalf of the City of Essen and the Volkwang Museumverein e.V., each of which owns half of the Volkwang collection. 4th, Project Intercultural Health Guides. The goal of the Intercultural Health Guides project is equal opportunities, said the Essen mayor, who handed out the health certificates to a total of 19 people. You, as intercultural health guides, take on important tasks, inform people with an immigrant background, and at the same time strengthen the personal responsibility of migrants. On behalf of the city of Essen, I thank you for investing a lot of time and energy and for having undergone intensive training. This commitment is worthy of all honor and deserves recognition. Quote and Mr. Mayor Kufen of the city of Essen. How do I find the right doctor? What can I do to get and stay healthy? How does the German healthcare system work? Answers to these questions are often difficult to find with a language barrier. Intercultural health guides start right here, right there, and inform people with a migration background about the wide range of offers in the German health system and about health promotion topics. The aim of the offer is to strengthen the personal responsibility of migrants and to close information gaps. Thank you to the city of Essen. Thank you. Reasons for awarding the Thank You Sculpture to the Museum Folkwang. First, collaboration with Marina Abramovic. The cooperation between the University of the Arts and the Museum Folkwang and the associated collaboration with Marina Abramovic, who sees her performance in the Folkwang Museum, 54 hours performances, as a perseverance and concentration. So I want to put the message of the Thank You Sculpture and solidarity into practice as perseverance and not as something temporary. Second, return of the Benin bonds. The subject of restitution is a difficult and sensitive subject, but the Museum Folkwang and the city of Essen have nevertheless shown their willingness to clarify and have turned this into fact by approving the return. They decided to transfer ownership of the Benin Bronze Memorial Head of an Oba back to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Museum Folkwang has owned the Benin Bronze Memorial Head of an Obama since 1932 through an anonymous donation. To implement the transfer of ownership of the Benin Bronze to the Federal Republic of Nigeria on behalf of the city of Essen and the Folkwang Museumsverein e.V., each of which owns half of the Folkwang collection. Third, climate protection. The commitment to climate protection through the implementation of climate-friendly measures, further training for employees on the subject of climate protection, use of green electricity, etc., and the dialogue with climate activists from Extension Rebellion, which in my opinion the city of Essen is exemplary implemented, as well as joining the nationwide sustainability action network. Thank you very much. Reasons for awarding the Thank You Sculpture for the Folkwang Museumsverein e.V. First, goals of the association. Second, the contract between the city and the association establishes one of the oldest public-private partnerships in Germany. It has survived almost unchanged to this day and forms the basis of the ongoing gratifying collaboration and the outstanding success of the Museum Folkwang. Third, the Museumsverein would like to continue to give important impulses, promote them together and inspire people. For this, we are constantly dependent on support. Combine your enjoyment of art with active commitment. A living museum needs the support and encouragement of committed citizens. The Museum Association also promoted innovative ways of art education and museum education. The purpose of the association, together with the city of Essen, is to promote Dr. Karl Ernst Osthaus to manage and expand the Folkwang Museum founded in Hagen, and as a public one, to make the collection permanently usable for the purposes of research and popular education. In addition, the association generally sets itself the task of promoting the fine arts support financially. It is also the task of the association to ensure the international status and character of the museum, to maintain and promote it by supporting the activities of the scientific staff in the area of teaching and research, and all efforts of the museum for supports international cooperation in the artistic field, in bracket, from the statutes of the association. Thank you very much. Thank you. Reasons for awarding the Thank You Sculpture to the Folkwang University of the Arts. First, collaboration with Marina Abramovic. The cooperation between the University of the Arts and the Museum Folkwang and the associated collaboration with Marina Abramovic, who sees her performance in the Folkwang Museum, in bracket, 54 hours performances, bracket closed, as perseverance and concentration. So I want to put the message of the Thank You Sculpture and solidarity into practice as perseverance and not as something temporary. 2, anti-discrimination and equality. In order to be successful, our equality and anti-discrimination work must adapt to the individual needs of our employees and students. Therefore, we broaden the equality perspective. Which has traditionally been focused on the category of gender, and look at other categories, in particular ethnicity, class, sexual orientation, and disability. We recognize that these categories may overlap in a number of ways. Anti-discrimination work in everyday university life means, among other things, the establishment of a complaints office for the efficient processing of all types of complaints within the meaning of the General Equal Treatment Act, AGG. The development of preventive measures to prevent violations of sexual self-determination, advice, support, and care for victims of violations of sexual self-determination. The development of a concept for the use of gender-sensitive language in university communication. Thank you very much. The focus of the Federal Agency for Civic Education's work is promoting awareness of democracy and political participation. It addresses current and historical topics with events, print products, audiovisual and online products. PPP's event formats include conferences, congresses, festivals, trade fairs, exhibitions, study trips, competitions, cinema, seminars, and cultural events, as well as events and further training courses for journalists. Federal Agency for Civic Education. Thomas Krieger is convinced that in a democracy with plural lifestyles, we need the plural interpretation of fundamental rights, and that disputes must therefore be viewed positively as a constitutive feature of democracy. Thomas Krieger, President of the Federal Agency for Civic Education. Thank you. The corrective firmly believes that well-informed people can democratically solve problems and bring about improvements in our society. To do this, they pass on their knowledge and cooperate with local and international partners. The research platform Corrective has managed to pull off a scoop. The portal reports on a secret meeting between AfD politicians with neo-Nazis and donors in Potsdam in November. The central theme is said to have been the remigration of people with foreign roots. German Journalists Association, Union of Journalists. Thank you. Hello. David Garrett is a long-time and loyal supporter of Jose Correa's fight for a cure for leukemia. He has appeared numerous times in the annual benefit gala for the Jose Correa's Leukemia Foundation. The artist was already a star guest at the Jose Correa's gala in 2007 until 2020, where he performed for a good cause. David Garrett has also been meeting patients on leukemia wards regularly for years to encourage them. The artist has known Jose Correa's for a very long time, has often worked with him, and has felt a special connection to the German Jose Correa's Leukemia Foundation for years. At the 25th Jose Correa's Gala, David Garrett designed a lucky pig that was auctioned off for a good cause. What connects him to the fight against leukemia? He is certainly united by the belief that we all have to do something to improve the situation of those affected. It is important to get involved in projects like the Jose Correa's Leukemia Foundation, both small and large, to help people, support them, and simply be there for them. Indifference is not an option for him. On the contrary, he is very happy that he too can contribute something to Jose's work. Thank you. The man of peace has a future. The motto of Catholic Day 2024 should appeal to all people of good will. We need everyone to do so that our world and society can move towards a peaceful future. Refugee aid from the Catholic Church. In recent years, several million people have made the dangerous journey to Europe. They are looking for a life of dignity, freedom, and security. What was previously an abstract thought for many Europeans can now be experienced in everyday life. We are part of a global community with a shared destiny. Given the large number of people seeking protection, the globalization of charity called for by Pope Francis is also happening in the heart of our country. It is the Christian response to the globalization of indifference, which the Pope emphatically complained about during his visit to the refugee island of Lampedusa. As Christians, we do not face the challenges of our day with fear and resignation, but rather with alert confidence and active commitment. Christians cannot vote for the AfD. German Bischofs Conference 2024. Thank you. the student unions make a significant contribution to achieving equal opportunities. In cooperation with universities and university towns, they contribute to improving the framework conditions for university studies and play a key role in shaping the university environment. German Student Union. Quote, addressing the student mental health crisis, quote end, the president of the German Student Union, Professor Beate Schöcking. Thank you. The Cultural Office consists of the administration and program department. We all work day after day for a diverse, varied and high-quality program offering in Bielefeld for a wide range of interests, for cultural diversity, for young and old, indoors and outdoors, for large public venues in this city, and also for activities in Bielefeld districts. The Cultural Office in Bielefeld are committed to creativity and artistic quality. Thank you.